Hi, it is August the 9th, 2022. So, the whole big story right now is about the feds raiding one of Trump's places. Of course, people are up in arms about this. And from my perspective, I don't care. I don't really care at all because, I understand that, people are just making things worse for themselves. And when I say that, I'm talking about the people supporting the feds, supporting this attack. I understand that all they're doing is hurting themselves, but I also understand that they're never going to hear that story. They're never going to hear that message. They're never going to understand. And they have no interest in listening. They have no interest in understanding. And seemingly they have no interest in making their lives any better than what they are. It seems to me that all they want to do is try to hurt other people, I guess, to make other people hurt the way that maybe they hurt because their lives are so miserable. So I don't care that they're hurting themselves. I don't really care that they're hurting him because I feel like I don't have any personal attachment, and he seemed like a bit of a jackass when I heard him speak, and he can afford lawyers. So there's a lot of other victims in this world I can choose to feel sympathy for. I'm not that worried about it on that level. I'm not even worried about the fact that it's likely to escalate the violence, because I already understand that, like, everything that people are doing is going to escalate violence. So I already understand how this plays out. I already understand that there's going to be violence. And I don't intend to participate in any violence. And hopefully I can avoid it. But as a reasonable, rational person, it's obvious that this is where we're heading. And when I look around this world and I consider the people who have become so cruel and so desperate and so evil as to simply seek to hurt other people, I really don't feel much sympathy or much even desire for them to be okay. It doesn't really matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is that they're not hurting me. And if someone else decides they're gonna do something to get rid of these people, well, no worries from my fucking perspective, man. And that seems inevitable. We have the CPI coming out in the morning, and this is a key thing. Okay, so, excuse me a minute. How to get that one out. Here's another aspect of this whole, they went after Trump, right? And not just they went after Trump, they also passed this thing, we're going to try to increase the IRS agents, all this bullshit. So they're going after a lot of people, right? I had some guy coming after me the other day. Here's the thing. People need to be aware that they're coming for you. And people need to do what they need to do to keep themselves safe. And a lot of the, everyone's situation is different. everyone's facing attacks from different people, from different entities, and everyone has a unique situation. So you need to think in terms of, what do I need to do to protect myself from a society filled with people who have no desire other than to hurt you? Which is where I find myself. So, I used to pride myself on being authentic, but these days, I would say I'm giving you about a 2 out of 10 as far as the real me on here, simply because I don't feel like I can talk about the real me, 80% of the real me, without someone attempting to use that information to cause me damage. And sad world, I could be entertaining you, I could be recording videos that are a whole lot more fun and exciting and interesting than this, but I can't, because I'm under threat from people who are repeatedly demonstrating that they have no desire in this world other than to cause suffering to those that they perceive as their enemy. So, here's the thing. Some people might say, well, just because they're not coming after you now, aren't you worried they're gonna come after you, and therefore you should be up in arms about Trump or someone else they're coming after? And from my perspective, that's not how this is gonna work this time. And the reason that's not how this is gonna work is because of that thing I mentioned that's happening tomorrow, which is the CPI. We are living in a credit bubble that is collapsing. And there will come a day where the government becomes unable to fund its expenditures. So, any coming after people that they're gonna do, well, they need to do it before that day comes. And all that you need to do is survive and attempt to accumulate and preserve whatever assets you can until that day arrives and we finally get fucking freedom. I've not been real focused on my book recently, and my second edition. I've had a lot of other things calling me, and while I did cut out my improv class, I still have a very full and busy schedule, and I think I'm going to need to cut out some other stuff. So all I'll say is stay tuned on that. I have some changes coming down the pike. I expect that I'm going to be moving out of my current situation, hopefully at the beginning of October. This isn't the best situation here, and I think I can provide a better situation for myself and for my kids. So that's coming, but not for a couple months. So that's exciting. That's something I can tell you about. A lot of we have to work around so many threats as we attempt to accomplish things in this world, because people are so dead set on trying to hurt you, trying to impede you, trying to prevent you from having any kind of success on any level. it sometimes seems overwhelming, but God is good, and He shows me a way, man. He puts a path in front of me. He shows me an answer when it seems like there is no answer. You know, He proves Himself to me over and over, man. And it's tough. It's tough when you're in the moment and you don't see that solution. You don't see it. And you just keep walking forward because it's your only hope. And that hope for me has materialized into amazing blessings and amazing visions of a future that far surpasses what we have experienced on this planet through the present moment. I believe that we're gonna regrow this fucking planet, reforest, re-tree. We're gonna cut down on all this congestion, all this useless labor. We're gonna do all these amazing things that the communists pretend that they can get us. And we're gonna do it through freedom. Because it's the only way, because economics is real. Because the laws of supply and demand simply are real. The more money you are willing to spend for something, the more likely someone's going to sell it to you. That's the law of supply. The more money you're charging for something, the less likely someone's going to buy it. That is the law of demand. That is where you start, and through those laws you can derive amazing truth regarding the future. There's a third law of economics that I mention in a blog I wrote. Can't remember what it was off the top of my head. I think it was to do with a voluntary transaction. People won't engage in one unless they perceive a benefit from doing so. That's real simple, makes sense. Why would you do something if you don't think it's going to be a benefit? That would be silly. You know? People are rational. People are emotional too. They just want to pretend that people aren't because it makes it easier for them to tell themselves the stories they've been telling themselves. That we're mentally ill. That we're stupid. That we're uneducated. All these lines of horse shit they tell them fucking selves. They don't know us. And they sure as fuck don't know economics. But regardless of that ignorance, they will learn it the hardest fucking way, because the laws of economics will apply regardless of whether they understand them. Their purchasing power will collapse, and they will be at the mercy of those who have it. So I see no path whereby these individuals decide to do the intelligent thing and surrender prior to that event, where they still have that bargaining chip, where they still have that purchasing power, that structure of control, and they can use that as a bargaining chip. Because once that collapses, they have nothing except angry, hateful, armed, hungry people looking for their blood. That's what I see happening, man. Miracles happen. God has shown me that. But all my intelligence tells me that they're done for. That there will be no reconciliation. You know, I think about that woman I fell for 4 years ago, and the truth is today I see her picture. It does nothing for me. I don't feel myself attracted to her. I don't feel any spark of compassion or caring or love for her. I feel nothing at all. You know, the only things that even cause me to think about her at all are, one, just the mathematics of it and how it seems to make more sense to be mutually obsessed with one partner who you just enjoy the fuck out of than it does to be sleeping with everyone. On practical levels, on, you know, safety levels, all kinds of things. So that's one thing, and then I think, well, who would that one person be? Now, maybe that is the solution, and the one person just isn't her. And honestly, that seems possible, except for the one thing, that the one person I would think it would be someone who I wouldn't see me being exclusive with, just because I don't think that's what we would be into together. So that's one thing. The other thing is just that I wrote all those poems, that I wrote this book, that it was all intertwined with that relationship, and that, you know, the poems I wrote about her are the poems that are in my book. I mean, I think I have 4 poems in my book, and I think like 3 of them were inspired by that relationship. And it's just weird that those would be the poems in my book if that relationship was something that would just die. But it feels to me like it has died. It feels to me like it's dead. Just like these people it feels to me like they're dead. Like they're the Walking Dead, basically. Like, again, miracles happen, and I don't want to say that they can't, but it doesn't, from my perspective, seem like something I would expect to have happen. But, you know, maybe the lesson is that the love that it unlocked in me didn't need to be fulfilled by that relationship, that it was the love that empowered me to do what I needed to do, which was understand the rules that exist in heaven. And, you know, love carried me through the fallout from that, but not the love for her, the love I had for my kids. And it seems boring, the idea of being with her. Like I don't want what her husband has. Like I think she seems like a very boring individual, like a very conforming, very plastic, very fake, very selfish person. Now, maybe that's just the part of her that I'm seeing, but it's not something that strikes my fancy. She's not someone I feel like I could trust. I don't know, man. I used to feel like her presence would heal everything. It would fix everything could become resolved, but I don't know that I can trust anyone in this world anymore, man. I don't see goodness. I see self-will. I see selfishness. I see people not considering others, not thinking about them, not caring about them, and so it's hard to imagine kind of feeling like someone did care. You know, I have relationships that are intellectual relationships where we have common points of interest. But very few of my relationships, I feel like there's a real caring there, a real, they got my back. Like, I don't feel like anyone in this world has my back, except for God. You know, I got a few friends I can call, and I do believe that they have my best interest in mind. I just don't feel like they'd go out on a limb, you know what I mean? So, I get through this world and, I take the punches as they come. I do the best I can, man. I make the decisions that seem best to me based on my priorities, man. And I'm not going to get into those right now, but wanted to give you guys a video, and I'm glad I found a few things to talk about. And we'll see what that CPI number is tomorrow.